What's really good, Seminole fam? It's your boy. You already know who I am if you turned in. It's the Polk County Knoll. And it is January 29th on this Wednesday in the year of 2020. And I am coming at you with our midweek news and notes. And man, there are a ton. There are a ton of news and notes to talk about strictly on the recruiting trail. We are on fire, so to speak. So let's not waste any time. Let's get right into it. Sunday, Corey Wren, athlete, 5'10", 170 pounds, 4-star. That's right, I said it, 4-star, not 3-star, 4-star out of Louisiana. 10-4 in the 100 meters, commits to Florida State, will most likely be used as a running back. I personally see him as a guy in the Percy Harvin type mold. Not to talk about any Gator players on this channel, but just as a thought of where or how you would use him. You could line him up in the backfield, quick, on a pitch, let him hit the edge. I'd line him up in the slot at receiver. That's personally, I think Corey Wren is a kid that, especially once he gets some size on him, you probably add 20 pounds. He's 170 now. Get him up to 190. You can use that guy in a lot of different ways all over the football field. Corey Wren commits on Sunday. Monday comes. Big offensive tackle. 6'6", 295-pound, 3-star out of Arkansas. He's the third-ranked player in Arkansas. Offensive tackle, Robert Scott. We flipped them from Ole Miss. Lane Kiffin was all in his feelings too about the flip. Even tweeted a little when Robert Scott first committed to Ole Miss. Lane Kiffin tweets that, and Lane Kiffin was just in his feelings. Monday we get Robert Scott. Good pickup. Yes, that one's only a 3-star, but that's an offensive lineman. That's a true offensive tackle type body. Probably a kid that might take a year or two to really get on the field and see any type of production out of him. But you never know with these offensive. I think, personally, your offensive line, whether it's pros or college, they're the toughest position to evaluate, the toughest position to predict. There's more busts on the 5-star level of offensive linemen probably than any other level. You can find gems of low graded talent. It all kind of depends on how a guy's body adapts to the weight. Does he keep athleticism? How does his body transition? So that's a good pickup in my opinion. Anytime you're getting a pretty decently regarded offensive lineman. We got Robert Scott on Monday. Tuesday, we grabbed two guys. We flip Darian Williamson, another athlete, 6'3", 190, 3-star. We flip him from Tennessee. Now, me personally, I've watched his tape. I personally think so they got him listed as an athlete. From what I'm hearing, he's being recruited as a receiver, sort of if we don't end up with Malachi Wyman, he's going to kind of fill that role. Personally, I've watched his tape, and I think he is a better defender to use maybe as like a strong safety. He's already 6'3", 190. That's Hamson Nasruddin type size. I personally think he might be a better defender. He might be a better safety at the next level from the tape I've seen. He has aggressiveness. He does a good job at wrapping up when he tackles. He hits hard. His offensive tape wasn't terrible by any means, but I don't know. I think there might be more upside on the defensive end for Mr. Darian Williamson. But that is another guy that I think maybe you might need a year or two to kind of figure out what he's going to be and how he's going to be used. But just the measurables alone, 6'3", 190, you can teach technique, you can teach scheme, You can't teach size and you can't teach speed. And with a lot of these prospects that I'm going over, they got size. In Corey Wren's case, he's got the speed. You know, Robert Scott, 6'6", 295. He's got the size. Darian Williamson, 6'3", 190. Whether he's a receiver or a safety, that's just size. That's a big guy. And lastly, Marcuston Douglas, another athlete. Now, they got him listed as a tight end depending on the website you look at, he's either a tight end or he's an athlete. 6'5", 255, 3-star. Another big body. I personally think he's an athlete because he played DN, tight end, and some project that at his size, he may even be able to fill out into the offensive lineman if you can, depending on what he. And look at if you look at what he is in high school, he's a basketball player. Yeah, he's a basketball player turned football player, and there's pretty good track record of those basketball guys going to be football players. 6'5", 255. Again, you can't teach size. I don't know what he's gonna be at the next level. Out of all the guys we've named so far, he's probably the truest project player that you have. Right? Corey Wren, he's pretty much listed as a Swiss Army knife on offense. I'm not sure how they're going to use him. I think they're going to put him at running back, but I'm pretty sure they'll use him in any way they can. Robert Scott, that's an offensive tackle. Darian Williamson, I think they're recruiting him as a receiver. I personally might like him better as a defensive player, as a safety. Hell, maybe even as a linebacker. I'm telling you, I think he's got that instinct on defense just from what I've watched. And then Douglas, though, he's just an all-around project. Hasn't played football that long. He's more of a basketball player, but he's a big boy. And again, I like, so 1 4-star, 3 3-stars. But what I like about your 3 stars is there's high ceilings on all of them. All the potential's there. You get big bodies with big frames that can fill out, and I'm with that. It's one thing to take a 3-star who's 5'8", just a guy that you don't see a lot of potential there. I think in all those cases, there's a lot of guys. All 3 of those guys have a high ceiling. The floor is not going to be too low. The ceiling is going to be pretty high. So. Big recruiting week so far. And the week's not even over. The week's not over. We still got official visits coming up on Saturday. Speaking of official visits coming up on Saturday, 4-star offensive guard Jalen St. John has canceled his official visit to Tallahassee this weekend. So out of all that positive we just talked about, that's a little bit of a, sour taste in our mouth, I guess a little bit of a knock, not on the staff or anything, but just a bad spot that you can't get that kid on campus. He is a legit 4-star. He is a guard, but still you need all the offensive line talent you can get. Personally, I think, and the fact that he won't be attending his official visit this weekend kind of sucks. On the positive notes, 2 3-stars have confirmed their official visits for this weekend. Weak side defensive end, so that's basically your speed rusher type. TJ Davis, 6'3", 230. Haven't watched any tape on him yet, so I don't have any opinion on him. I will definitely look some tape up. I don't know if FSU has a real chance at him. I think he's forecasted to Vanderbilt. Not too sure. I like the measurables at 6'3", 230. I don't know. I think I seen a picture of him. He doesn't look 6'3". He looks skinnier, which means he's got a good frame to probably add some weight. And then Georgia linebacker DJ Lundy, 3-star, 6'1", 230. They have him listed as an athlete, but I'm almost certain that he's being recruited as a linebacker. Big-time wrestling prospect in the state of Georgia. A lot of people think he might be a better wrestler than a football player. Not too sure. 6'1", 230. I like this. Again, two things you can't ever teach. You can teach scheme, you can teach technique, you can never teach size and speed. So 6'1", 230, that's a big boy. We'll see if we can land him. DJ Lundy. Those are the two guys that have confirmed their visit. Haven't heard any updates on Dejon Edwards. Don't know if he's going to end up in Tallahassee. I know he originally said he would take his official this Saturday, but a lot of things going on with the Zach Evans fiasco over there in Georgia. It's kind of made Edwards their number one priority, so we don't know what... if Evans goes back to Georgia, then maybe we still got a shot at Edwards. At this point, I'm not too, whatever over Edwards. If we get him, we get him. If we don't, we don't. I would like to have him, but with Corey Wren getting his 4th star, I think they've done enough with the running backs. But, that'd just be an extra get. There's also some concerns on whether Dejon Edwards can even qualify. Same thing with Malachi Wyman, and we'll get into Malachi Wyman here in a minute. But yep, nothing confirmed as of yet for Dejon Edwards. Let's talk about some ratings bumps. Some Florida State commits got some pretty big ratings bumps. Let's start with the future Cubba Purdy. That's right. So Cubba Purdy, when the last ratings came out, national rank, 262 overall player, the 10th rated dual threat quarterback, and the 7th ranked player in the state of Arizona. He will finish out in his final grades as the 191st overall player nationally, the 7th overall dual threat quarterback, and the 6th overall player in the state of Arizona. So that's a big boost nationally for Cubba Purdy. Demorie Tate earned that 5-star, baby. He was the 50th overall player nationally. He moved into the top 34 overall player, the number 4 quarterback, and the number 6 player out of the state of Florida. And Malachi Wyman was the number 132 overall player. He moves up to the 116th player, the 20th overall wide receiver, and the 19th player in the state of Florida. And on a quick side note, not to say anything negative, but I think it's worth mentioning, Jeff Sims falls to a 3-star on the 247 composite. Jeff Sims, a guy that we all thought was going to be the future quarterback here in Tallahassee, he falls to a 3-star. He's the Georgia Tech commit. Norvell basically decided that he was going to move on from Jeff Sims when he got the job. Traded Jeff Sims for Cubba Purdy and Tate Rodemaker, and bam, Jeff Sims is a 3-star, and Cubba Purdy moves into the top 200 nationally. So nothing but positives there. We'll close off with some FSU hoops. FSU loses to the University of Virginia, 56-61, snapping I believe it was a 9-game winning streak. We lost on the road, so that home winning streak is still intact. Tough game. The first game against Virginia was tough, so you figured this one would be. And I wouldn't say it's much of a hiccup personally going forward. I mean, that's only the 3rd game lost this season. We got a lot of season left. You're gonna take your L's. It's not like we got embarrassed or anything. Just a tough loss. No big deal. Vassell led the way with 17 points. Gray had 8. MJ Walker struggled mightily. He was only 3 for 10 for 7 points. So look for FSU basketball, the Hoops, and Leonard Hamilton and the boys to bounce back. Forgot one thing, and we'll close out with this. Malachi Wyman has been taking his visits. Right now, it's not really trending in the most positive way for Florida State. I really want Florida State to land Malachi because I think he's an athlete that you don't see very often. I don't want to call him a generational athlete, but man, is he twitchy. And he can do some incredible things. I want Florida State to really go after him. I know He won't be taking any visits, but Norvell is getting that in-home. There's talks that him and Leonard Hamilton will go visit Malachi. I think that'd be a big thing if they can do that. I think Malachi took visits to Ole Miss and Tennessee. Let's hope Norvell can convince him to stay. And yeah, that's the latest on Malachi Wideman. There have also been talks of whether or not he can even qualify for school. I don't know if it's like his ACT or SAT scores or any. I don't know about all that, but there have been questions on whether or not Malachi will qualify. So that might be a reason that he might be looking at other schools as well. Not too sure about that. But yeah, man, that has really been a ton of news and notes so far. Like four recruits in 3 days, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Norvell and the staff have been putting in a ton of work. So it's good to see. Let the critics talk. I know everybody's going to talk about these 3 stars and all that. Look, you got 1 4-star and 3 3-stars. But again, you got guys with potential. You got guys with high ceilings. So I'm all for it. They're doing the best they can do with the situation they were given. There aren't a bunch of 5 and 4-star prospects even left out there. So you're getting the best of the rest. And, I'm just look out for this staff to keep putting in the work. To me, they're doing a damn good job so far of filling out the rest of this recruiting class. And yep, we'll shut it down here, man. Before I go, I gotta talk about it. Condolences. Gotta talk about the death of the Black Mamba, Kobe Bean Bryant, and his beautiful daughter. Man, when the news first broke, I tried to do a live stream on it, and I just couldn't find myself to really do it. The more you saw the news that come out and the fact that he was with his daughter, honestly, just being a father of a daughter myself, it just broke my heart, man. And the Mamba will live forever. Legends live forever. And I just had to address it and talk about it. Prayers to his family. You will live forever, Kobe. One of the greatest of all time, obviously. And so, just had to say my piece on it, man. But hey, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. If you're a returner, man, hit that like button. Share it. All that good stuff, man. I appreciate all the support, man. Stay classy, Seminoles, and chop it up. The Polk County Nola out. Stay tuned. Saturday Night Live coming to you this Saturday. Y'all know how we do on Saturday Night Live. We have some fun, man. All right. Be easy.